a session featuring Christian Facey from AudioMob. Are you there, Christian? Christian is going to be delivering even a presentation called Monetize, Not Bastardise, which I would imagine will be about retaining the integrity of your game. Are you there, Christian?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
I can. I was filling just a little bit there, you could probably tell. I was introducing your session of Monetize, Not Bastardise. And I was suggesting to our viewers that you're probably going to talk about how you retain the integrity of your game. I can't see your face at the moment, though. I don't know if you need to.
Oh yeah, it's all part of the point that AudioMob is trying to make. You'll understand in a sec.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, okay, I'll hand over to you now then.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll stop playing around. You see, the point we're trying to make here is that you're expecting me to say something, and I wanted you to realize how much you rely on your ears. I'm Christian Facey, and I'm the founder of AudioMob. Now, I'm going to take off this ugly mask, so just bear with me 1 sec. Great, normal again. So, as I was saying, my name's Christian Facey, founder of AudioMob. And to get right into it, the presentation, as you know, is called Monetize, Not Bastardise. To give you a bit of a background on myself, I was a former Google strategist, managing up to $100 million a year in ad spend. Former science partner at Facebook, so using scientific experiments to figure out how ads are actually influencing people. And now the founder of AudioMob, which is also a Google for startup with VC backing. And the leadership team, if we were live at the conference, this is who you'd be meeting. It's myself, my CTO, doesn't always wear a tux. He's a former programmatic engineer at Google, and also a former engineer at JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. And Ben Williams, our chief business officer, a former director at Apple, helped launch their iAd platform, and a former trade director at Mobi. And I just wanted to reveal a bit more about the team and our backgrounds, as we've noticed a number of gaps in the industry. And we really believe we're building something, as well as our partners, something that is really going to positively impact advertising in the gaming space, as well as monetization, ad monetization profits. And in terms of what you're going to learn, it's rewarded audio, more about the audio state. What does it mean to analyze the audio state of the device? So this actually works. How audio ads influences game design. And then most importantly, how audio increases revenue. We're not talking about revenue that you would have otherwise seen ever before, incremental revenue for your game. Now, before we get into the crux of the presentation, I want to show you a very quick snippet to show you what audio advertising actually is in motion.
Everything you've grinded for has come to this moment. This will be your greatest race.
Forget your greatest race. Buy an iPair now. The ad's still not done. Why haven't you bought an iPair yet? Click it!
We know developers need to make money through video advertising, but there is another way. Here's the iPair ad as an audio ad.
Great, more interesting social media posts with the iPair.
So that's all you need to see now, just to understand what the overall concept is. Now, this is the first time we're revealing the stats in public. There is a government body called YouGov that we've been working with for quite some time now. We've been doing research across 2,200 UK adult gamers. And we know that 86% of adults dislike, UK adult mobile gamers dislike video ads in mobile games. Now, the whole idea behind Monetize, Not Bastardise is we absolutely realize rewarded video and video in general is an absolutely amazing source of revenue for game developers. But adding more video is actually a bad thing. And yet you have to keep on growing, keep on monetizing. And the idea is that audio isn't just a way where you could replace videos or interstitials or intrusive ads, but it can work alongside it because we're monetizing a different part of the game. And this is where the real opportunity in audio is. Now, to give you an overview of the ad industry, everything is moving towards non-intrusive ads. All the most recent innovations, VC-funded companies in the advertising space within gaming, it's all around non-intrusive ads. There's audio, in-game billboards, in-game videos, product placement, and you even got playable ads. So this I put kind of in brackets because playable ads mimic gameplay, but it is still stopping the user from the primary function, playing the game. But again, I've included it here. It's an amazing source of revenue as well. Now, the important thing, the revenue, the monetization, the CPMs, they range from $2 to $30. Now, if you take this into account with let's say a banner ad, that can monetize if you're lucky up to maybe $3 CPM, but usually it's sub $1, maybe 50 cents. And a banner ad is one of the rare formats that can actually monetize during a player's gameplay. With audio, you get many, many multiples on top of what you would have otherwise gotten with a banner ad. And I'll explain this in more detail a little later. And the audio ad industry, it's growing at 23% a year. This has been driven by podcast advertising, Spotify, Deezer, SoundCloud, etc. And there's a ton of demand. As we're the first company in the world to do this, we have access to $3 billion worth of traded audio ad demand. This is from partners such as Triton Digital, Target Spot, Rubicon, etc. And this is of a total addressable market, which is deemed to be an $18 billion opportunity. And this is backed by Spotify, who obviously has more data than anyone else. It's a massive, massive opportunity. And there's a reason that advertisers want to access your mobile gaming inventory using audio. The reason is that if you were to take a single user to listen to Spotify, Deezer, or SoundCloud, or any of these other mediums, and they're a free user, you'll get maybe an ad every couple of minutes. Usually it'll be every 10 minutes or so because you've got to listen to multiple music tracks or a certain part of a podcast, and then you'll get a free ad. So the ad requests are quite low. But with gaming inventory, you have many, many more ad requests per second, as I'm sure you know. Someone dies, someone gets to a certain point in the game. There's a reward that might be applied. So there are many, many more ad requests in games than in audio inventory in general. And this is the main reason why audio advertisers are pining to get into the mobile space. Now you take a standard banner, it's low revenue, it's relatively unnoticed, but it does monetize during gameplay, as you know. But when you take an audio enhanced banner, this is where you reach to the $2, $5, $10, $30 CPMs. It's because audio advertisers want to talk to the subconscious of your audience. Here's an example, and this is an ad from Disney.
On the 24th of March, say hello to Disney Plus. Start streaming the most talked about movies, series, and documentaries, all in one place. Visit disneyplus.com for more.
So in case you're worried, one thing that we're driving in the industry and educating advertisers on is short form audio. None of this old school audio formats that are 60 to a minute and a half long. Short form audio that is suitable for a mobile gaming environment. Now, the next stat from our case study that we've done with our users is we know that 18% in general, they prefer video ads. They accept them as part of the transaction of being advertised to via monetizing a free game. IP, of course, a very lucrative and very profitable segment. 26% of overall respondents prefer in-app purchases. And again, got to protect your whale. So outside of advertising, IP is obviously amazing. But what we found is that 28% prefer audio ads overall. Now, again, we're early stage, we're a year in, AudioMob's a new company, but this is a pretty substantial indication on the want of being monetized without being intruded on. Hence the previous points I made around ad tech innovation. It's all around non-intrusive formats, and audio is one of them. Another stat, 61% of our respondents, 18 to 24-year-olds, they listen to music while gaming. Now, the reason this is quite substantial is, as you know, and I will get to this in a sec, a lot of game developers are under the impression that the game is muted. This is absolutely true. A lot of games are muted. However, a lot of game developers, most of them, can't detect whether the actual device is playing Spotify in the background, or SoundCloud, or YouTube, or Deezer, or Tidal, or any of these other apps. So when you get another ad format, video or anything audio enhanced, like a rewarded video, for instance, and someone's listening to music, usually that music will cut out and the user will have a reason to exit the app. So this is where the audio state comes into play. Now, when you've got an audio ad, it is of imperative importance to understand the on-device audio state of the phone. So if there is a companion banner, for instance, like you saw in the previous video, we know if it's clickable, we know if the ad's been muted, whether the banner's been closed, the quartile that the ad is listened to, whether the sound is on or off, if the iPhone mute switch is on or off. And there's a plethora of other addressable metrics such as age, gender, location. That's all passed together in a package that is substantially valuable to an audio advertiser. And of course, we've got something called audio passback. So when someone is listening to music and an audio ad comes in, we capture the timestamp so the person never loses track of where they were. So these are the core metrics and core things we track to ensure that an advertiser's ad is heard, as well as to make sure that the user doesn't get annoyed from having their gaming experience, i.e. listening to music, something external to the actual game, to make sure that they're not disrupted. Now I'm going to play you a video here. This is Big Brother. It's the world's first MMO, and it's a game for the most watched TV show in the world, and it's backed by CBS, the largest television station in the US.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Okay, time out. You're gonna let your budget be the boss of you? Take control with Progressive Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay for car insurance, and we'll help you find options that fit your budget. Here's some music to get you pumped.
So what you've just seen here is an example of rewarded audio, where a user has opted in to listen to an ad, and as they are doing things in the game, they're actually consuming more currency, which will lead to another monetization opportunity. And these are the kind of features that audio can enable the game developer to take advantage of in terms of monetization during gameplay. Now, I know every single person here, certainly every game developer I've spoken to during early trials, have always asked, what if someone's actually muted? How do you get around that? So everything I said about the audio state, I'm going to show you an example here. If someone has an iPhone switch, the mute switch on, this is what happens when an audio ad comes in. So someone's about to die. They want an extra life. And an unmute switch comes on.
On the 24th of March.
So all you have to do is press the prompt, the volume increases to 30%, of which we track the audio level so we can pass it back to the advertiser, and so the developer can get paid, and then the user can go about their way playing the game.
Hello to Disney Plus. Start streaming the most talked about.
So this is the core idea here, that when you analyze the audio state of a phone, you can then do more interesting things in terms of where you place your audio and not be worried about the audio being muted or the user fiddling around with their phone. And this is why we created this function to get around this problem. And in terms of how audio advertisers buy, it's all around context. We understand that a lot of game developers, and when it comes to ad monetization, is usually around either branding via banners or installs or clicks. But here, it's about listen-through rates. It's about age, geo, gender, GDPR consent, the device and app ID. And the beautiful thing here is that you can get more data from a mobile game than many other audio publishers. This is why, combined with the previous points in terms of ad requests, the audio advertisers will pay a premium just to get their ad listened to. This is a really important point to understand here, especially with the incoming IDFA and how certain performance ad monetization solutions will be affected. And again, audio is just another contextual metric that can increase your CPMs. So just an overview of monetization here. You've got rewarded audio. You can be rewarded while playing the game when you use audio. You've got automatically triggered audio as well. So good thing about audio in general is that you can adapt it to different business models. So it's not just rewarded, it could be triggered. Let's take a game like a racing game, for instance, where you get to a certain point in the track. Maybe you want to power up, it could be rewarded, or maybe there's just something automatically triggered. Or if you've got a game like GTA 5, for instance, where there is a radio in the car and you drive, and then the radio is intermingled in between the music ads. We've got sports games that are coming out as well, where audio ads are automatically triggered in between commentary pieces. So there is a lot of flexibility. And then, of course, you've got audio only as well. So what I just said about advertisers, a click-through is a nice thing to have, but it's all about the listen-through rate and all the data that you can get contextually behind the user. So with audio only, all you really need is an audio on icon or a skip button, and you don't even need to have the banner. And then you've got many more places where you can place an audio ad. So what I'm saying here about audio ads and how it influences monetization, these are some examples. It's very adaptable to multiple game types. And in terms of the ending notes that I want to leave you with, when it comes to audio, AudioMob is the only company in the world doing this right now, and we're building the infrastructure for audio ads. Based on what we have seen, we know this is going to be a standard audio ad unit because of the successful beta. And understanding the audio state is absolutely key. It's a great contextual metric that can be used to increase CPMs. Ad monetization in general, whether it's audio or non-intrusive billboards or product placements, it's not going to be an afterthought. Again, most innovations in ad tech are non-intrusive, and we even have a Monetizer panel coming up right after this, where I'm going to be discussing this with some great companies. We're heading into a time where monetization solutions can actually positively influence your game design in terms of where an ad can be placed within your gaming environment, rather than being tacked on as an afterthought. The $2 to the $30 CPM, I mean, a banner versus an audio enhanced banner, the commercial opportunity here is quite obvious, especially in terms of fill rates, the increased CPM beyond what you can get in a banner, even if the banner isn't there. Audio can definitely be used to increase your incremental revenue, and it works alongside video as well. So it doesn't have to be rewarded. It could be, you could use another format that is monetizing the player during the gameplay rather than in the same slot. And the last thing is innovate. We always encourage game developers to innovate, whether it's audio or non-intrusive video or banner formats. I mean, you'd be making less right now if you didn't adopt banners from AdMob, Google, or videos from Bungle, or mediation from Mopub. From the data we've seen, it's definitely going to be the next standard ad unit. And without sounding too cheesy, it is literally the dawn of a first-time audio ad placement. And it doesn't have to be Ninth Impact, the Big Brother game, or FGL and Talamaki, or any of the other large studios that can take advantage of this. So whether it's to experiment with our technology or to learn more about the industry in general, because we are constantly promoting audio, would be glad to assist. And for any earlier developers as well, developers that may be just starting out building a studio or maybe thinking about it, we're actually announcing today for the first time our Resonate game design competition. First place gets $1,000, second place $200, third place $100, and the winning games, they actually get publisher introductions as well. I personally know firsthand how hard it is to start a gaming studio, and we want this competition to really give smaller developers a chance to start their own studios. And we've got some brilliant sponsors such as Pocket Gamer, Game Analytics, and Yuki. So thank you everyone for listening to the presentation, and I welcome any of your questions.
Thanks, Christian. That was great. It was a little bit scary to start with. Not just the mask, but also the silence. We were wondering if there was an issue, but you made your point very well. I'd love to know what you do with that mask in your spare time, but perhaps I shouldn't ask. There were some great examples there of you kind of you guessed some questions that might be asked. There is one question I did want to ask. When you dealt with the but what if someone's on mute and the little pop-up said, listen to this ad to win rewards. Can someone turn that off as well and effectively retire themselves from any prompts to listen to your ads? I'm just interested.
Sorry, you just cut out for the first part there. So could you repeat the
so you answered the question of what happens if the player is on mute, and you demonstrated the pop-up that said listen to an ad for rewards. I was just interested to know, can a gamer effectively retire themselves from those prompts so that they're not getting any prompts at all? Or are those prompts forced on you as a gamer? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. And to be honest, this is completely up to the developer. So we've made our ad solution much more adaptable based on different audiences. There's some of the game developers where all ads are automatically triggered, some that are only IAP, and some that are just rewarded in nature, and some are a mixture. So it's actually up to the game developer whether they want to impose this on the user or not. So we've got some developers such as Tiny Bit Studios, for instance, where the prompt, so there would always be a banner ad in the game, but the unmute prompt actually appears within the banner slot, and there's an equalizer that shows the audio is playing. So there's all kinds of things that you could do with the ad, and it's up to the game developer.
Up to the developer. Okay, we've got a good number of questions here, and we've got about 9 minutes. So I'll start with, you talked about the CPMs. Someone's asked what are the CPMs in tier 3, 4 geos?
So it highly depends on so many different variables, but let's say a tier 3 or 4 geo, let's say Africa, for instance. The CPMs there are actually above $3 for audio ads. The reason being is that a video ad is very expensive to the user. It's like a 30 megabyte video ad that needs to be sent. And the yields that you can get from an audio ad, which is 1 to 3 megabytes compared to the CPMs, it's much more attractive. So we are seeing higher CPMs than anything that we've seen banner-wise within tier 3 and 4 geos. Let's take India, for example. We're seeing CPMs of between $5 and $8 for audio ads. And again, this is all based on the fact that interstitials rather than video are more popular out there. So the higher CPMs can be paid for an audio advertiser that may want to use an interstitial rather than a banner. So we are seeing a higher CPMs than market performance CPMs across many ad formats across tier 3 and tier 4.
Okay, so generally higher than market rate elsewhere. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next, can we use audio ads in game screen, or only in level complete screen?
So again, this is up to the developer. We really wanted to make this flexible. You can use them in either.
Okay. There's a couple of questions that have come in. I think you've answered. I mean, we did talk about geos. I mean, presumably, if I ask you what geos do you serve audio ads in, you're going to say global.
Yeah, it's global.
Okay, and we've talked about if gamers are on mute. We've had that, but there is a question there that those users will generate 0 or low revenue if they're getting that prompt as opposed to your normal delivery. I presume it's less revenue for the developer. Is that right?
So yeah, so if the audio ad is muted, there is less revenue. But again, this is outside the scope of the conversation. But there are many other solutions that can be adopted. So even when the user is muted, you can use alternate revenue sources such as a banner ad, for instance, to still get paid.
Okay. In your experience to date, then, what are the best placements for those audio ads?
It highly varies based on the game genre. So like you saw, let's take MMOs. MMOs have got an issue where you've got players running around, chucking grenades at each other, talking to each other, and videos will work in a certain place. But then when they go into another environment, audio is the only thing that can really be used to monetize. So it could be, let's say, a radio spot within an MMO, like within a house or something. Within racing games, again, you could put the audio ad during gameplay in between music. For sports games, in between commentary. For story-driven games, we definitely wouldn't recommend audio because it could potentially interfere with dialogue and take the user out of the game. So in terms of puzzles, casual, hyper-casual games, MMOs, for instance, I would say it's definitely the most flexible format, but it highly depends on what genre you're playing. And and AudioMob have a game design team that can help you place these audio ads based on the genre of game that you're producing. Okay,
got a question here from Sai Pranith Ganupti about if audio ads disturb game feel by blocking SFX or BGM. Now, I presume you're trying to address that even in the title of your talk, Monetize, not Bastardize. Your suggestion is that games can retain more integrity this way. Could you just expand again on why you believe that it doesn't affect the gamer's experience?
So when it comes to how an audio ad is injected in comparison to an interstitial or an automatically triggered video, when it comes to the user's primary motive, what we've seen from all the data and our user tests is that the primary motive is playing the game. Now, in terms of an audio, ironically, an audio-centric game, so if you've got like a game, let's say by Us 2, for instance, where it's really, it really concentrates on the audio experience, then we wouldn't recommend this ad unit. Just like we wouldn't recommend the unit if it was for, I don't know, a game like Guitar Hero or something, where an audio ad plays like while you're playing the guitar. It could appear in some places, but the idea is it's not more about the unit. It's about the intelligence behind where the unit is placed. That is the thing that is absolutely key to make sure that the user's experience isn't disrupted. Again, this is why we're doing things like radio placements, because the user expects some kind of audio to be triggered behind that radio. Okay.
What if my game is for kids? What protection do I have that the ads that are served are going to be appropriate?
So one of the great things is the way that we've designed our technology stack. We're preparing for the onslaught of privacy frameworks that are coming out. We're fully GDPR compliant, COPPA compliant, and CCPA compliant. And any other framework that comes out, whether it's to do with protecting advertising ads to children or not, we can literally open up our stack, put in the framework, and then relaunch the unit. So yeah, we're fully compliant. So we can, so kids are protected from being served ads.
Okay, we've got a question from Jackie Vowles. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. If a developer hasn't used the audio ad format before, how easy is it to get started? Do you offer a dev program? So I guess it's what's the integration procedure?
So the integration procedure is surprisingly easy. It's to the point where most people don't believe us. The record time is an integration in 10 minutes because it's a drag and drop solution. And what I'm going to do is some links should be posted in the chat very shortly. It's audiomob.io/start, and you can actually see the integration solution. It's a drag and drop solution. You don't even need to be able to code in order to implement this unit. It's that easy.
Okay. Well, it all sounds very easy, Christian, and it all sounds very flexible. So you've impressed me, I've got to say, and I just hope that the way the audio ads come into the game is done with integrity, because it really, I mean, we all experience them in podcasts, and they can be irritating, and I think that's the thing that every developer will have to think about. Just one last point. I was actually interested in your comment right at the beginning. I think you said 86% of gamers in the UK find video ads irritating. Is this really an opportunity for the industry to change how it delivers in-game monetization, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the largest opportunities that we've seen in the last 10 years. And I'm saying this coming from Google and Facebook and my co-founders from Apple. It really is a massive opportunity to test new formats and increase revenue. Now, we're not saying drop all of your rewarded video revenue, which obviously you've affected over the last 6 years. We're saying that it's the more intelligent thing to do is to work with not just audio, but other non-intrusive ad formats. Test it out, experience the incremental increase in revenue, and then slowly shift depending on how your users continue to perceive the current ad formats. Okay. So yeah, change in a nice place.
It's an area that is going to continue to be discussed and evolve. And in fact, I believe you're back on a panel later on this morning to talk about new ad formats. So for now, thank you very much, Christian. Do appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. Take care.